Stand up there. Oh my god.
You guys made it.
Comes out next week.
John just whacked us all. Wow. Good job.
He gets sniped.
Fuck that guy.
That was totally off.
Just leave him behind.
Some zombie's gonna go to boom, boom.
Alright, get out, get out, get out, get out.
Out.
Alright, get in.
You have that cuddle when I'm fighting over each other. Teddy bear.
Oh! Woo!
So as soon as it comes on, we're already like, hi, welcome.
Well, hey, you guys. Thanks for joining us on our Fat Island stream of E3, which obviously was the last 2 days. We had a lot announced, a lot to talk about, and not a whole lot of time. So we're going to jump right into it. Obviously, we got to start off with Bethesda. Bethesda started super strong. They started off with Doom.
Killed it
With Doom, right? Like, Doom was fantastic, and it's been a while since we've had a really, really strong Doom game. Obviously, the last Doom game that came out, they tried some new stuff. I think they wanted to be more Dead Space with it.
Yeah, it was like a horror game, wasn't...
This was the best way they could have showed Doom.
It really was.
Just show someone running around, chainsawing things in half, things exploding. No nonsense, no deep story involved, just... That's all I want from Doom. When I think of Doom, that's what I think of.
Heart out and made him eat it.
Fed him his own heart, and then also proceeded to take a guy, break his leg, and crush his own skull with his own foot. I mean, I don't know what else you want from a Doom game. That's
all I want.
Killing demons with the most over-the-top action that you can. And then they also showed the Doom creator kind of style to it. What were your guys' feelings towards that? Like, did we like it? Good, bad?
I'm glad that it's there. More options are never a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's there because there's obviously, like they mentioned that the PC crowd were like really, really super big into modding and all that stuff. So it's there for a reason, for a purpose. Is it something for me personally? I don't know, but
I'll probably play everyone else's maps. I won't use it myself. I don't know.
Might be fun for like a random night, just to make a stupid map and just have some laughs.
Play around with some buds, come up with like a crazy stupid mode, and kind of have some fun. It just, to me, it reminds me of like when you first got Halo, like when you got your hands on Halo 1 and you could go in and you could, make your own matches with like the different skulls and all the different stuff that was there. Like that's what that kind of spoke to me like look at this, just build your own, have some fun. And I mean, once again, it's just Doom, just over the top and as stupid as possible. So I was pretty excited for that. Like
it looked easy enough too. Like it didn't look super complicated.
Yeah,
a lot of like level editors I used to mess with, like in Halo 3, even Far Cry 2, were super, super complex, which is good. This looked like you were just like almost like Lego, it's just clicking pieces together and it just happened and you were able to just jump right in and play it and it was fun.
I'd say like Doom out of the whole conference was the one game that I already knew about, but I wasn't sold on until I saw that and I was 100% sold on it. Like everything else, for the most part, you know what you're going to buy or not ahead of time, but this really got me going for it.
Yeah, I think they did great. I think starting with that was a great way to kind of kick off E3. I thought that was cool. And then we saw some other things into that, but then honestly, the next big one for me anyways was Dishonored. We got Dishonored, and we had two actually announcements from Dishonored, which was great. We actually got a remastered, the definitive edition Dishonored, and then Dishonored 2. So it kind of gave us this, Dishonored 2 to look forward to, but in between, while you're waiting for that to kind of come through, Dishonored Definitive Edition will be there, so you can play it on your new consoles. You can have access to that. I mean, what are your guys' feeling towards those? Both the remake and 2.
Gonna buy both day one.
Both day one. I like.
I think the definitive is like what, August?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you got spring. What is that, like April, May of next year? That's plenty of time. Get it out in August. Give everyone a chance to get caught up. Play all the obvious big blockbusters in the fall. Be looking forward to Dishonored 2.
I know.
Simple.
I know you're not huge on
remasters
definitives, yeah.
But to be fair, I didn't know any scratch the surface of Dishonored. I played maybe 45 minutes, and I could probably give it a good night worth of play at least and get into it a bit more.
Yeah, I can see that.
I really feel like Dishonored's going to come into its own this next game. Like Assassin's Creed, the same. Like one was just, I think Dishonored 2 is probably what's going to really grab me as
It-
opposed to Son of One.
It's always nice too when like a company like Bethesda, try something new with Dishonored. Obviously Bethesda's got these specific games, Doom, Skyrim, these ones that we're all just used to and expecting from them. And then when they throw something new at us like Dishonored, it's really cool to kind of see them try it and it be semi-successful. I mean,
And it
at
works.
least successful enough for them to make a second one. Yeah, like
And
it
it's
works.
its own thing. It's different enough. Like there's other games too that just don't get lost in the kind of the jumble of everything. It's
And then
awesome.
on two, the fact that now, I mean, of course, with one there was the different playability as far as you can kill people, you cannot kill people. You kind of played at your own pace. With two, they even showed now there's two different characters. You can play the guy and the girl. They each have their own kind of skill set. Obviously, in one you had that blink ability. The chick, it looked like she didn't quite have blink, but she could like shoot like black smoke tentacle or something and kind of pull herself to
can't
where
tell if
she
she
was
turned
going.
like almost like a night crawler thing.
Yeah, so I think
Or-
that's
that was
cool. I think that just adds more to that like play how you want style. If you can play as the guy, you can play as the girl, you can kill, you cannot kill. You really have that versatility there.
From what I was reading, it seems like something you can switch between
Like mid-game?
levels.
Oh, like
So I don't think
okay.
it's just something where you just pick someone from the outside of the game and then that's that. I think you're allowed to make the choice of in between. So maybe you play a level and you play as Corvo. I think the girl's name is Emily. Or
Emily,
Amelia
okay.
or something like that. You play as Corvo, his abilities might suit that particular level versus, maybe you play through it again with her and it might, I don't know, be better. Or, I don't know.
I could
Options.
options like we were saying.
Options are good.
Yeah. Do you have something? Was there a question?
No, we're
No.
just looking at the Twitch chat.
Okay, perfect, awesome. And then Bethesda ended with the game we all wanted, the game we were all waiting for.
Battle Cry.
Yes, Battle Cry. We all must have it. Fallout. Fallout
I didn't know what
4.
that game was about. It just got erased from
I can't harp on it. It's just it came on after Doom and before Fallout. I feel like any game you show in between those two, it's just gonna get kind
Lost it, yeah. But Fallout, once again, kind of two announcements with Fallout. We got Fallout 4, which was the baby, the gem, the thing we all wanted and we're really looking forward to. And then we also got another one that was really fun and actually released last night, was Fallout Shelter. I know Peter has at least played Fallout Shelter. I don't know if I have an Android.
Yeah, I'm
So,
an Android user, so
I'm waiting for it to come out for it. And Bethesda,
Apple
I know
for
you
that.
said it's coming. It can't come soon enough. That's all I can say. But from someone who has played Fallout Shelter, what are your initial thoughts on it?
Super addicting. It's basically like any timed iOS game. Collect resources. You have to wait a certain time for a certain thing. It's fun, but it's Fallout, so it's cool. They have these like lunch boxes you get for free with some super cool stuff in it. They're super expensive. They're like $1 for a lunch pack with like 4 cards in it, which you get for free. So I'm definitely not going to buy them.
And the game Shelter is free, correct?
Shelter's free, yeah.
So-
it's a ton of fun. It's got goofy Fallout humor.
Just
When you get the chick pregnant, she
What-
just like walks out like super upset and sloping. The guy's like makes some dumb joke. Let's go play cards.
there we go. Time to leave that stuff.
what I was expecting it to be, if anyone ever played Dying Light, there was an app that you could do. And as you did stuff in the app, it was kind of like a survival thing. You sent people out to do missions.
Dying
Whatever.
Light.
You've actually got stuff like for the game. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I understand Fallout 4 comes out in November, but it would have been kind of neat to see some sort of link between the two. But at the same time, that probably would have kind of broken it a little bit to have 5 months of preparation of collecting lamps and
by the time it came out, you'd have so much money and water and all this extra stuff.
But who knows?
that
Maybe they'll do something for
maybe
that.
it wouldn't
maybe if you're
transfer
a
good.
certain-
And then, of course, the gem of Bethesda's launch was Fallout 4. I mean, that was it. And on top of that, we got a brilliant collector's edition, which I think all of us got. So we right here already, Bethesda, you've made almost $400.
bunch of grown men.
But for anybody who hasn't seen it, go check it out. It's of course the Fallout game, and the gem there is that you get a Pip-Boy that you can wear on your wrists.
We actually got a question in the Twitch chat complaining about the Pip Collects Edition. I know you had some issues with the build of the Pip Boy, right?
A little bit. But it looks like they're promoting it more like a phone case. Is what I'm looking at. I don't think they're making it as a Pip-Boy replica. I don't think that was the idea. It looks like they're making it for...
It's supposed to work like an actual Pip-Boy second screen, right? So you can change your weapons.
He
and
literally
everything
called
on
it
the
that.
go.
I mean, he even said it's borderline a gimmick. It's just a second screen. He said that on stage. Like, it's supposed to be like a second screen experience. So
So we
And-
all got those collector's editions. Are you guys gonna wear yours?
Okay, so if we're gonna be honest, I'm gonna put it on one time. I'm gonna have the companion app loaded on my phone. I'm gonna sit there. I'm gonna feel like I'm in Fallout. I'm gonna play with it one time and never touch it again.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
if
I'm not gonna
we're
do that. I'm not gonna risk the scratch.
I'll put it
One
on until
scratch
my
on
arm
it.
starts sweating and be like, yeah, this isn't worth it.
so I think with the price point they offered for it, with of course it came with the Pip-Boy, it came with the extra case, steelbook, the traveler's guide, the map, all this stuff that maybe isn't really needed at all, but like for collectors like us, for people who have loved the series and love Bethesda and really everything they put out. Honestly, me giving Bethesda $130 of my money, like I would do that anyways.
I'm going to
Bethesda
get
earns-
$130 out of the game.
Exactly.
That's all. So everything
So-
else is just extra.
They've earned it.
There's so much in that game that they showed. Like I don't even know. Like
Yeah, where to start talking about that? As far as weapon creation. Let's kind of jump to that real quick because that's kind of its own beast. I think every game now that does weapon creation and builds is now going to have to re-look at the way they do it after watching Fallout do it. I mean, I can pick up a lamp, a toy car, and a radio, and turn that into a usable gear
A
for the
rocket
game.
launcher.
Yeah, I can start off, using the glass from the lamp, the screws from the car, and the metal from the stereo to make a weapon, and then take that weapon and alter it more and add a bigger grip onto it, a longer barrel,
outrageous.
more ammo, and eventually I've started with these toys, these random pieces part of this world, and now I have use a rocket launcher that I can shoot teddy bears out of. Like,
Yeah, he literally exploded someone's head.
Yeah.
so
I'm sure it was explosive, but it was just a teddy bear.
Yeah.
And the guy's head
And then we've got like the Minecraft style building stuff, and they even said in the interviews they were heavily inspired by Minecraft. They even got wiring, I guess.
yeah, that. How do you guys feel? I'm personally completely
great.
thrilled by that. The amount of hours I'm going to put into building not only my own building, but then my own city, and then protecting my city, and then building a second city to have convoys go between the two, and follow. I don't think I'm gonna have a life when this game's done.
And if that's
I
not
was-
enough, like there's gonna be mods in the game too. Like,
Yeah.
I was torn on two different things. So one, they showed all that, and it looks awesome. I'm all for features in games. Then I got really excited because they said that it's completely optional. He said you can ignore every aspect of that. It does not affect, to my knowledge, the story, you progressing. But then he also said that by doing the settlements and being successful in those things, that you get some of the best gear in the game. Because
Yeah.
you get the traders, which kind of goes against the whole optional thing because, obviously
I think
want
the whole
best.
point was that obviously there needs to be some reward for.
Yeah.
Obviously they put time into this, so there needs to be some reward for doing this. But I don't think it's not like you can't beat the game, you can't beat the story,
No,
you can't
no.
have fun if you don't do this. That's. If you want, just like any game, if you want to go and 100% it and get the best gear, the best armor, you're going to have to do some things that are a little bit out of the normal for the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
It's the way it is, so
I'm sure they'll make other ways for you to get that same thing just through a different method, but
it's probably just the easiest way to
One
do
of
it.
the comments actually is imagine the possibilities for multiplayer. And I had a personal thought. I'm always against multiplayer in Fallout. It's a sacred thing. But I felt like that one, if they had added multiplayer just in that one mode where it's like horde mode and you build a thing, I would have been okay with that. I thought that would have been cool.
like build something with a friend.
Yeah, I don't
see
want
how many
multiplayer the
ways you
whole
can
game,
do.
like keep it sacred, but I would have been okay if I was almost expecting them to say multiplayer and just tier.
It would be cool because we have games like The Last of Us that are obviously these story-driven single-player experiences that really are, that's where they are. But then they have these online multiplayers that are worth playing, that are genuine. They are in their own right a fun game.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if Fallout kind of did something like that, where they're like, "Hey, you can all build up settlements, and then let's say all three of us have a settlement. And I need to protect." I need to get you got one of you guys water, so Joey and I hop on a caravan, and him and I have to protect it from raiders while we get it over to Peter, and then
That'd be cool.
like a horde style mode, but with some objectives like that. I think there could be a lot of,
And there's gonna be mods, so I'm sure somebody is gonna make something.
if not,
For sure. They're probably just
down
going to
the
leave it
road.
up to that anyways. They're probably like, we'll just focus on what we know people want
Yeah.
on the ground level and then let others just tinker with it. But
So Bethesda from
We're all
start to
buying it.
finish, Doom, Fallout, Dishonored. Even some of the smaller stuff they showed off, like Battlecry. I feel like, especially for their first conference, that was the way to kick off E3. That to me has so far been the star.
And granted, it's one studio focusing on what they're doing, period. But the way they showed two of the biggest games, Doom and Fallout, that was like the perfect way to do it.
Yeah.
A strong
I
just
like when
stage
he,
presence.
When he was like, okay, that's enough, and he like starts walking, people just laugh at him. They're just like not even like yelling. They're just like laughing like you're
They
stupid.
can't even be serious. We didn't talk about
Yeah.
Fallout, so get out of here. You're not important. And then today, we had obviously a lot more going on today than we had Sunday. Today we started with Microsoft. Microsoft, of course, came out showing off their baby, Halo 5. We all got to watch a little bit of that. Feelings about Halo 5, you guys. Did we enjoy it? Did we have fun? I mean, what did you think?
It looks cool. With Halo, I'm at that point where I don't care about the game anymore. I care about the story. So like, hopefully 343 can keep telling that story really well. The game looks great. I let go of Xbox a while ago, so I don't really get a chance to play anymore. But the game looks great. I mean, it looks pretty, looks smooth, looks quick, fun. Looks like Halo. So
some stuff that I noticed about Halo, and I know we've discussed it before in streams. I know a lot of people have talked about it. Even 343 has even addressed it before, but there were some clear similarities between Halo 5 and Destiny, what we got from Bungie.
our favorite game here.
Just some simple stuff, like obviously the name Guardian, which they've already addressed, came out of a booklet like that, but killing people, they disappeared into like a glimmer thing, just like they do in Destiny. There was a lot of similarities there, not to the point where it ruined it, not to the point where I thought like, oh my god, they're copying Destiny, but there was just enough of those little things that my brain kind of went, I've seen this before. Like, I've done it. Now...
I feel like if the Spartans start shooting lightning or something, people are going to get confused what game
right?
It's just going to be like, I need to check my disc. I don't know. Halo's always been good, though. Like, Halo's never been bad. I don't think they ever put out, like, a bad Halo game. It's just that there is...
ODST was
ODST.
just terrible.
But even on
so
its
bad.
own, to be honest, that's probably, I think that 3 and 2 and 1 are the ones I say
The
like
main
only
ones
2.
was been great. Even Reach was fantastic.
But it was fine. I finished it. Like, it wasn't a bad game. I just, like, there's so many... And I watched the trailer and I mentioned this to him when we were talking about it. Like, they could have honestly told me that was Halo 4 and this isn't about the graphics or anything, and I probably wouldn't have known what's the difference. It's just, you're still shooting grunts and the guns still look the same and you're still double jumping and it's...
I think Peter hit it perfectly. For Halo, it's really about the story. They've done this great job of developing this really cool story with Master Chief, and obviously Master Chief is back for this one, but he's being hunted.
Problem with it, they didn't show any Master Chief in that trailer.
I get that, but
He was in the beginning, right? Like, they showed him for like a second? He was, yeah.
I think for like a...
Because it was him with the blue team in there, right? Yeah.
But yeah, like I said,
watched it.
I think the whole point was, this game isn't centered around Master Chief. Obviously, they said you are going to be playing both storylines, but in this one, Master Chief is less the hero. He's more being hunted in this one.
I almost got like, and I can't even call myself a big Halo fan anymore, but if I was still big into Halo, almost a part of me was offended at the start when she was like, is Master Chief friend or a traitor? And I was like,
That was really confusing.
Yeah, I was like, how do you even ask that?
How many
Like,
games do we
what's-
need of him saving the world?
Yeah, what?
And now we're unsure if he's...
But we've seen that before in like a Gears of War style, where Gears of War Judgment, you had Baird and Cole on trial for basically being heroes. That was the whole point of that, was they were literally these heroes who had disobeyed orders. Sometimes being a hero doesn't make you a good soldier.
Yeah, but Gears of War Judgment isn't canon, so...
You get what I'm saying, though. Like I said,
Halo 5 looks awesome. I think it's going to do great. I think if you have an Xbox, I think it's one of those games you buy almost by default because it's going to be... It'll be fun. It's got a lot of options. You play it with friends. It's easy to jump into. For me personally, this isn't because it's a bad game. It's just not something I'm super into.
So we'll go to a new IP then that Microsoft announced, ReCore. We didn't get to see a lot of ReCore. We saw very little bit. We didn't get to see any gameplay truly, just a cinematic. But the game looked really creative. It starts off with this woman fighting with her dog. That's obviously a robotic dog, and it's got this blue core, we'll call it, because I guess the game is ReCore.
ReCore.
So obviously the dog gets destroyed at the end of this battle they have with these other robotic things, and she finds this giant robot, takes her dog's core, puts it into it, it spawns alive, and then of course, goofy enough, sits down like it's a dog because she recored. She used the core, so the dog's soul or being or whatever it was still thinks it's a dog. So I see this game being a lot of fun and a good mix between like an adventure game with puzzle solving. Obviously, there'll be like you know, you've got this big one that you're going to take into battle with you, but obviously when you need to get through a smaller area, you're going to have to recore into a smaller body, move through the smaller area, take that core, put it into something bigger, fight again, maybe put a core into something that can fly away. I think that's the whole point of this game, is that you're going to use this core in multiple different bodies.
So I watched the whole conference. I think all they showed was the CG trailer.
Correct.
So I don't know if it's like a side scroller, open world. I don't know if it's being budgeted as like an indie title, or if it's a big budget game. From what I saw, it looked like a cool concept.
Yeah. I
It
mean,
looked like something I might, give a shot.
it's definitely at least something to be on the lookout for. Keep an eye out for it. We might see more. I mean, we'll obviously see more of it, but it's nice to see where it's going to be. Now we'll talk about some stuff, some classics. Rare came out.
I just thought that was big on weird kids.
Nothing really new from Rare. Well, sort of, but we got the Rare collection.
I'm not a fan of remasters, but I'll take a Rare collection.
Honestly-
I'm a little bit jealous.
But I'll take a straight port from Super Nintendo.
That's 30 games for $30.
It's only
And
50 years old.
honestly,
so.
like, those are some games we've all wanted forever. I mean, there's Conker's Bad Fur Day. We've got Battletoads. We've got Banjo-Kazooie. We got Viva Pinata. I mean, every ridiculous game and just over-the-top fun you can think of, we're getting with that. And like you said,
cool.
30 games for $30, that's $1 a game, man. I spend more money than that if I go down to the arcade and try
Those
and
games
play
were
a
like
game.
$60 when they came out.
Yeah.
Back when I was buying them new. Those are. I would love to be proven wrong because I want them to be successful, because Rare is finally looking like they're going to get an opportunity to
do
work
something.
on real games later. But yeah, I mean, they've been stuck making Kinect jousting games for the last 10 years. So, I mean, when Microsoft bought Rare back, I don't know the year, I'm not going to pretend to know the year, but we all thought, man, now they're finally going to have like a huge budget, and dear God, what are they going to be able to make on these more powerful consoles? And then they get stuck making motion games, and for years it's been a joke. They missed the entire 360 generation of anything good. They made nothing on Xbox 360 that was Rare
and then
form.
Two, when the one was announced, obviously the Kinect was always there, so we all kind of thought, okay, Rare's just going to be pumping out
And Rare
Kinect
was
games again.
right
They got
there at
rid
the
of that.
launch.
They
Kinect's-
pulled it out from underneath them within the first month.
Yeah, but luckily Rare, this looks to me like they're not just dropping Rare. That looks like even with them losing that Kinect always, which I think was something Microsoft needed to do, I think giving Rare this other chance, this new way to come back, is great. I think that's really cool of them. So
I would love to hear that conversation. I think it's more Phil Spencer than anything. I don't remember the name of the last guy that he went on to take over a mobile company, and that failed too. But
Okay, yeah.
But ever since he left, like
The guy's been
Microsoft's
so
been making
helpful.
like some
Good moves.
good decisions.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the first time within less than a year it took for this new guy being now in the big boots, and he's making the right call. Again, we'll talk about it later. But yeah, that Rare collection's cool. I just don't see that being something that you would like push really.
I think it's
hard.
just one of those fun things. Pick it up.
Yeah.
It definitely adds value to the console. I
It's
would lie.
something you own, and it's cool, like to pop in when there's just maybe nothing else out. But I don't want to live through Battletoads again ever. Like
fair.
in my life, I never. That's
Do
why
we-
with the stupid jet ski.
Do we have something on a question?
No, we just got a couple of comments. Battletoads, Viva Pinata,
Yep.
and Rare hates Sony. I don't think that's the case. I just think they work for Microsoft. So
Rare likes money.
Yeah, I mean, I think
more
that's
than
right. I mean, let's be honest. Any company comes to us. I mean, right now, freaking any company in the world could come to us and say, "We're going to give you $1 million to put on our shirts while you do your streams." We do it.
yeah.
We don't care. It's cool.
Or
Money, money, money.
$10,
Five,
Any-
something.
yeah, just
come
any
on.
guys.
I take coupons, please. More
Now, in my opinion, this next one is where Microsoft really stepped up. Backwards compatibility. I think the idea behind it. I know you're kind of against it. I mean, not really against it, but you're never really big on remakes. You're always about pushing the consoles forward.
Old is old.
Yeah, and I get that.
I would lie. Again, I think it adds value to the console. I had a couple people tell me today that it changes everything. I think
It's
I don't
value
think it
to it
changes
if you already
a
own
lot.
it.
See-
It's nothing that I'm going to write on. I'm not going to buy an Xbox One so I can play 10-year-old games on it.
I agree with you, but I think it was a smart move for Microsoft to make because there is still
It does look like a shit on Sony.
What's up?
It does look like a shit on Sony.
It
Sony's
does.
handled
From
it.
a publicity, but realistically, like, are you gonna go put in like old Xbox 360 games, start playing them just because you can now?
I am not.
That's right.
I'm truly not. Like, let's be honest. There's some games, and I'm sure I might do it once or twice just for the
Novelty.
novelty. I mean, it really will be. It's like, I mean,
And
it's
plus-
just like plugging in your 64 and playing it. Like, is that going to be your number one gaming console from now on? Of course, it's not going to be. But you have that day, you're hanging out with some friends, and you're like, you know what, we're going to do? We're going to race pod racers today.
I honestly,
and you
like-
have a ton of fun, and you do it.
If Sony did it too, I'd probably be like, yeah, this is fantastic. I still wouldn't use it, even if it was
Yeah.
Sony. Like, I
Plus,
just,
all the games worth playing have already been remastered. So
yeah,
why do you
that's
want to
true.
play
They're
the old ones?
remastering everything.
It's true.
But-
They really are.
They're doing it
Honestly,
better
like-
than Sony.
People don't understand too, like Microsoft and Sony both did consumer service when they brought their consoles out. I think the focus group was like 18,000 people or something, and they found that only 5% of people actually what they wanted in their next gen console was backwards compatibility. No one cared. It just wasn't.
It's
Didn't
because
make
it
sense.
sounds good. Every time a new console comes out, one of the biggest things people mention is I want to be able to play the games that are currently on.
And that's-
Because at that time, you're at okay. So at the end of the PS4, Xbox One cycle, more than likely you'll probably own anywhere from 10, 20 games, and it sucks to just think that all those kind of go to waste because most people trade in their old consoles.
Well, that's where I was going to go to with this. I think the smart move from Microsoft was to pull in new people. You know, there's this big group of people who, like you were just saying, have this collection on their 360, and the only reason they're not upgrading is this idea of that once they upgrade, they lose their collection.
But those people once they upgrade.
But that would have been at launch, not 2 years later.
No, okay, so I agree with you as well.
people
Once they upgrade, they're probably never going to touch those again. But
or they're not going to buy anymore. There's not going to be any attach rate because they already have their collection.
I don't think you're right there. I think the idea is the backwards compatibility goes, oh my god, I have this collection, and their worry before was breaking away from it, and now when this new one comes out, they go, oh, that's backwards compatible, I can upgrade. They upgrade, they buy a couple games, and they never touch their old ones again. I
Yeah.
personally think it was a really smart...
I don't know, like, don't get me wrong, it was a fantastic move. Like,
yeah.
There's a reason for everything. There was enough reason for them to do this.
Even if it's not like a
And
practical
really-
move, it's a political move.
And
Yeah.
really, what do you think it really cost them?
Well, what's funny is when the Xbox One first came out,
You
when
know?
the whole DRM thing was still in place, like this was one of the things I got asked about. Can I play my 360? No, we can't put that hardware. It would make it more expensive. So magically,
They can? and it's
Someone-
a software
Well,
update?
and it's a
Well,
but
I think the way it's working is obviously the Xbox 360 with 32-bit games, the Xbox One is a 64-bit console. Those don't play well together, so when you put your disc in, you're actually going to download a digital copy of the game. And what they're doing is taking each game one by one and putting them into like a 64-bit mode.
And
so
I-
you're just downloading a 64-bit version of the game.
I think you're right, because they already have said, you know, it's not just going to be you put it in and it's available.
It has to
they
be one
said
that they've already prepared.
There's-
ahead of
on
time.
December, they said they're going to be shooting for about 100 titles.
and there's a list right now, and there's about I didn't
19
count it
or something.
Yeah, maybe like 15 to 20 games,
Yep.
and you know they're all the bigger titles, but.
Yeah.
Personally, I think the backwards compatibility, I'm not up in arms about it on either console, but I think both companies are not handling it well
I agree.
as a feature. PlayStation, you got to pay.
Yeah,
Like
PlayStation Now was a joke.
I did the trial thing just so I could play Arkham City, and I canceled it 2 days in just because the whole idea of it. I played Arkham City, loved it. I just could not get back into it after playing
But that's
more
even, like,
recent.
that's even what I'm saying. Like, the market's just not there. Like, it's a novelty. You go even play it, and it's just not... it's not
And
like
Microsoft,
that.
they're saying backwards compatibility, all this stuff, and it sounds like you should be able just to play, but it's not going to be like that. You might get 10 titles every 3 months.
Once again, great move from them. Even if it's just that the people hear it and it makes them happy.
It's a good bullet point.
Yep, great
to put
for
on a-
great for Microsoft
yeah,
to
no.
do it.
Yeah.
This next one, I know Peter might be the driving for this one, the HoloLens.
Oh yeah, no, I love that. That if I have to buy an Xbox to work, play with that, they play Minecraft right here, and like, I'll buy it. They can just take my money, but I think it's gonna work standalone, right? Or if not with my PC.
That's
at
kind of
least.
what they showed. They even, because I mean, they said it comes with a controller, an Xbox controller. So I mean, I feel like there's gotta. I mean, if it comes with a controller, then it would be stupid that say you have to be connected to your Xbox. Because if you had to be connected to your Xbox, you'd already have a
I don't
controller.
see it, like if it doesn't work, if it works by itself, it's gonna be really stupid expensive.
Yeah,
So
I get.
it's
I
gonna
mean,
have to- I think it's gonna be out of PC or Xbox One. Maybe it'll work with. There'll be two versions. Or
This is
something.
going to be a hard sell, I think, even for existing owners. Like, I think the
Did you
technology.
see the original? Did you see the original demo though? The
Oh yeah,
proof of concept demo where they're like playing
where the
with
guy
car
like, it's like
and
a kid
stuff.
like sitting on the floor, and there's like literally like the whole mind. It looks like it's cool. People also have to remember the way they demoed it on stage, how we actually were seeing this whole thing happening on the table. The only person who's ever going to actually see that is the guy wearing the glasses, and apparently the screen to view that through is like literally the size of a credit card. So I still think there's like a lot. Again, if you picture it, you're going to have this in front of you, and you're still going to just in your peripheral, I imagine, unless they build something in, you're just going to see everything like normal. It can be really off-putting.
They're completely partnering up with like Oculus now, right? Microsoft.
Yes.
Am I wrong with that? Yeah. So
I don't know if
Sure
Oculus have
they're-
anything to do with that though.
Sure,
HoloLens
they're
is
probably
their thing,
borrowing
right?
I'm
technology.
sure there's something there because they said that they were teaming
Gonna-
up with them for their VR stuff.
Anyways, I think
so-
it's cool, and I want to see more of it. So
It was an awesome stage demo. It'll be
I-
cool to see if it actually comes through like that.
It'd be cool too. What excites me most about it is if we could get a lens just like they did for their camera, where we could do a stream here and we could slap it on our camera there, and we could do it and have
We're
some
getting
fun.
into like
and-
some Minority Report stuff at that point.
yeah, okay,
Hey, if that
but-
thing
Yeah.
works exactly the way it does, and it just plays Minecraft, nothing else, I'll still buy it. That's enough.
spend
Microsoft.
$200 on
Here's your
on
guy.
Minecraft basically. To me,
No, I
the
still do it.
real
I love Minecraft so much.
So this is going to be maybe a little bit different from you. To me, the coolest part about the HoloLens was actually not it playing on the table. I thought that was really cool, but I was like, how often am I really going to use that? To me, I liked the ability of just like, I think it'd have a lot of use for like kids and stuff. They're out with their parents take them to Ross. And the kid can literally look at a wall. And I mean, it's going to look really weird if you walk into a place and there's a kid just staring at a wall. It's going to look like the kid's, like something's wrong with him. But just the idea of being able to put a screen wherever you want.
It'd be cool for like board games or something. You could
A
play
year from
Monopoly
now.
and have like, or like you could play Battle Chess, have like things actually like.
We're all
kill
just
each
going to
other.
be
So I
standing
think
up.
there's a lot of possibility with this. I don't think when it comes out, I don't think it's going to be blow me away. I don't think it's going to be a must-have. But I think it's kind of cool to see where this stuff is going, especially with this virtual reality. Everyone's right now focused on so much virtual reality about like covering your full face and this being this deep immersive world. I think sometimes we forget that like virtual reality could literally just be fun and enjoyable and play a
They
few little games here and
Need to just put all these things inside Dave and Buster's and call it a day.
Yeah, no, that's
None of these things,
They're gimmicks. Is that
they are gimmicks. Like this
That's the
is
way it
a
always
gimmick.
turns out. Like, there's
This-
no peripheral that's stood the test
Kinect
of
got
time. There's
pushed
nothing we're
hard,
still
I mean,
using that we've used for 20 years. It's been-
Anybody still own their Super Scope? Nobody.
They're
does.
virtual.
They're only a
boy.
landfill.
They're all like
These
just
things will be
attributes.
awesome. They're the hot new thing. They just seem new by default because it's new technology.
Somebody actually has brought up a point that watching your team on the tabletop, as far as like using the HoloLens with sports, can you imagine watching a football game like top down on the table? That'd be pretty sweet.
Or even taking it to the next level, like somebody like me who plays like tabletop games, like Dungeons and Dragons. Like imagine doing that. Or I play Magic: The Gathering, and I know a lot of times you and I talk of the difference between Magic and you like to play Hearthstone, and you like the animation stuff. Imagine playing a game of Magic, and
Oh,
when
yeah,
I play
Magic
a
could do
card,
that. Yeah,
a little
I'd be
monster
all into
pops
it.
up, Yu-Gi-Oh style, like from the old TV show, and this little monster comes and goes and attacks the other one.
Wasn't there something with the PSI that they tried to do that with? Like
Yeah,
a card
no,
game
there
where
was
you
a
put the
card
on,
game,
like,
but
a
it was
deck and
really lame.
popped up. It didn't work, but
Yeah.
it was the
Remember
same
3DS had those
concept.
little AR cards too.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't even think about that. Watching football games, you could even watch like concerts. Like imagine like a concert going on somewhere, and you being able to just watch it on your table. And
I'm not
like,
even into football in there, but I can imagine like making it feel like you're sitting in a stadium and watching it from top down. That'd be kind of cool.
there's a lot of possibilities from like video gaming, board gaming, watching TV. There's a lot that this could take us in the future.
If they make it work as good as it looks, which I'm sure that entire demo is completely fabricated.
Yeah.
If it actually looks that good, then I think they're onto something.
I mean, the way, yeah.
I think they're moving in the
Possibilities
right
is the key word.
Yeah.
We still don't know hardly anything about what these things are going to be doing.
direction. Yeah,
We have no price, release date, what games they're going to work with. It's a lot of just. It's exciting. It's cool to see that something's advancing, but.
So
it's all
this
talk.
next one we didn't see a lot of, but I know we were all excited for it. Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
Pirate game. I mean, I know a lot of us fell in love with like really strong pirate games when like Black Flag came out, and we all got a true pirate adventure. And I mean, yeah, it was mixed in with some assassin stuff and things like that, but it felt more like you were playing a pirate game. And I think somebody noticed that. Somebody went, we're gonna make a sweet pirate game. We're gonna do treasure hunting. We're gonna do boat battles. We're gonna do all this stuff. And I think Sea of Thieves is going to be it. I don't think it's going to be a game that breaks me, and I'm the most hyped I'll ever be about. But it looks enjoyable and fun.
It's fun.
So
I don't know what it is.
yeah, no,
Is it like a, I don't know if it's like
They
an
didn't show
MMO or
much,
like a co-op thing, but it looked really cool.
Looked cool.
It
looked fun.
awesome. Graphically, I mean, it wasn't realistic, but it looked like, I think, one of the best things they showed.
Again, that's another game where I said earlier, like, that's the thing now, is those cartoony graphics. I don't know if that's just in right now.
It didn't look
Maybe-
like cell shaded though. It looked like
But I think a lot of people notice that it's not all about graphics. I mean, for a long
agree.
time, that's how people
I'm just saying
range
that
their.
art, that specific art style right now. Like, it just feels like it's being done a lot right
It's
now.
probably easy to develop for. Probably gives them a lot of freedom, and it probably also speaks to a wide variety. I know a lot of parents see those softer edges and see that kind of stuff, and it appeals to them as buying it for their children. And then people at our age, we see that stuff and we just look at an enjoyable game. It doesn't necessarily shut us off.
yeah, and
to
no
it
fault
either.
to Rare. That's like their
Yeah.
MMO. They've always made.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not their fault. Everyone else is stealing.
And then what Microsoft ended with, I believe, Gears of War.
Was a terrible way to show one of their
I
best
feel like
franchises.
Sadly agree,
There's a
as a
disappointment for what
huge
people
Gears of
expected.
War fan
Yes.
too, just didn't. I don't think it lived up to Gears of War. I mean, when I think Gears of War, I almost feel like I do with Doom, but a little bit like a slower paced third person Doom. Like I feel tons of enemies, over the top action. I mean, I want a shotgun that can blow your head off in one hit, and then I want to turn around and chainsaw somebody in half. And
punch someone else and they explode.
what we got from this Gears 4 was this dark, they spent the 90% of it just walking around and adventuring and looking at stuff, and he
And
used
to
It's
his
just a vertical slash the game too, so it's
To its
not-
credit, I am not going to say the game's bad. There's no way anyone can say
There's
the game's
no-
bad.
there's no-
But
no.
the very first Gears of War started similar to the way they were showing this one. You start off, you get out of prison, and you're really just kind of walking around for a while, and
Very-
then all hell breaks loose, and it slowly just deteriorates into this. Everything's just going crazy.
See, I
You're
think for a
chainsawing.
start of a genre, that's okay. You can get away
For-
with that. But
exactly.
we've had this established what Gears of War is,
It's very possible they just chose a bad section to show. I don't know.
and
And
well,
that's-
I think that's what we're getting at. Is I don't think by any means any of us are saying Gears of War 4 is going to be bad, but I think what they showed us.
I did not
didn't
like
do it
the.
justice.
I didn't like the new main character, who I assume is the new main character. I just hated. And again, this is coming off of playing 1, 2, and 3 and loving them,
Yeah.
playing them countless hours, enjoying. It's the one franchise outside of
Crying
Halo.
in 3. I mean,
I didn't do that, but not all of us are men. But
I mean, I'm sure they just bought my Microsoft not too long ago. I'm sure probably Microsoft went in there and changed a whole bunch of stuff, and they probably just messed up all their work. And
and this is
This
another
probably
Halo
what they have
situation.
ready to show.
This is a new studio taking over a franchise that was super successful. That's really, really. That's got to be.
a daunting task.
Hey, these guys did this thing really, really well. You're gonna reboot it, and good luck. And it's
Yeah.
what?
So I'm super hopeful for it. By no means did
Hopefully,
the trailer turn me off to it, but I don't think it quite did Gears of War justice.
It's kind of those things where it's like a what do they call it? What is it? Two-edged sword, whatever.
Yeah.
People, if it looked the same, people go it's just Gears of War. If it looks too different, then you get kind of our opinions. We love the series already. Now it's this is way different. I don't even know what
I'm
those
not even a
monsters
big-
were.
I'm honestly not a big Gears fan, but from what I watched, I was like, I don't see what the big deal is.
Yeah, but then
I need
again,
Marcus in my life.
it's obviously not coming out this year. We still have a lot more to see. I'm sure they'll show us a lot more at E3.
Oh,
I'm
we
sure
can
they'll
go
get
play
feedback.
A Gears 1 beta, right?
Gears 1
I'm
beta.
Oh my God.
That's
Say that to yourself.
really weird to
So-
say. Yeah, as I said, that's really Gears of War 1 beta. Although I think the remake's going to be fun. I personally am going to buy it again. They can take my money. It's fine.
I like how we've just taken the word beta now and just trashed it. It's just
It doesn't. It has no more meaning. It's
there's
just
no meaning.
play
It
the
means-
game early.
means the new,
I don't
it's
know
new
how
with the
you-
demo.
I don't know what you need to do to beta that game.
No.
Yeah, no. There's
Had, like,
And they
10
don't
years
listen
of
to
beta
anything
testing.
anyone says. Not that anyone gives any feedback. They just play it. It's just the word for demo now, and you
Yeah.
just feel special.
It was cool they
A
put it out
beta
today.
tester.
that was. I
Sony
mean,
didn't do nothing like that. I would have loved to play something from Sony
Yeah.
today. So that was cool. I would if I had Xbox, I'd be playing right now.
yeah, right.
I played the heck out of Gears.
So, I mean, jumping right from Microsoft, our follow-up to that was EA. EA came, in my opinion, they had the #1 game I was looking forward to. We'll talk about that one at the end of the EA discussion.
Unravel.
but they opened up with Mass Effect. Now we saw 30 seconds
Cinematic.
of cinematic Mass Effect.
Yeah.
But it was cool that they at least addressed.
They just acknowledged it. Maybe they didn't have anything to show, but they didn't want to just like ignore it and
Yeah.
keep people.
I feel like it was one of those forced things. They had to have just something.
Yeah.
I think they showed at the beginning just to get out of the way so people weren't thinking it was going to be some big, one last thing kind of moment. Like, that thing's not coming out till November at the earliest of next year.
I liked that as well, that they were very upfront about what Mass Effect was. It wasn't, they weren't trying to show us, they weren't trying to lie to us, they didn't
Yeah,
try
no.
and put together some, this is gameplay footage. No, they were like, look, Mass Effect is in the work, shut up.
Yeah. Pre-order now.
What about the name, though? Do you think it's strange that they've gone from the numbering system to?
Yeah, this is the first Mass
Andromeda?
Effect to have a subtitle, like an
Yeah.
actual.
It's not Mass Effect 4. Is
weird.
it? Is it a spin-off technically, or is it still a direct sequel?
My guess is going to be that it's not a direct sequel. It's going to be because I mean, obviously we've got kind of an established line like that in a lot of games. You know, we've got the Halos. You know, and then when you jump out to the Reaches, the ODSTs, or these offshoots. You know, there's kind of this established line here that when it's not a number, especially when you've already very established that there is numbers in place, that just kind of is like, this is our little side project, there's something else we're working on. You know, maybe they announce a Mass Effect 4, or maybe it was even because, you know, obviously people who played Mass Effect 3, the ending was, I mean, it was an ending. It wasn't,
Wasn't the best ending.
it by no means was it, but it was an ending. It was very much this trilogy is
Yeah.
done. You know, it very much ended it. So maybe they are trying to bring something back with a reboot of a whole new trilogy.
So Star-Lord sacrificed himself at the end of 3. I have a feeling they're just going to pull the 100 years later kind of thing and just ditch it. I don't think they need to muddle on that. Just forget it.
Just forget it. It's done.
Like those
Yeah.
characters are good enough that if you try to bring them
Just don't need to
back
build
with
them
some
anymore.
weird, whatever
You just
retcon,
destroy it.
just leave it. Yeah,
Yeah.
just let it be its own thing, and then it'll be like Star Wars. We'll be talking about the original trilogy and the,
Yep.
just it's cool. It's big enough. It's a huge world, and they're gonna be able to do bigger worlds now that they can just go somewhere else entirely and just
Yeah.
leave it alone.
Another one too. The next thing that EA announced, which honestly I thought was really cool, and I'm really excited to see more, was Unravel.
Yeah, that guy was so nervous on the
He-
freaking
That
thing.
guy needed a bucket to start.
And
it.
if I'm being honest,
Like shaking
if I'm
so
being
hard.
honest, it only made me want the game more.
I know.
Because to me, that wasn't a guy who was.
Pre-order now for exclusive yarn colors.
Yeah, this guy was just somebody
He
who
looked really
genuinely
hopeful. He
had
believed
an
in his game.
idea.
Yeah.
He put something together, and I mean, honestly, it's got to be absolutely terrifying. I mean, obviously, like when we do this stuff, like we hope millions of people are watching.
We're
and-
looking at one little lens.
Exactly.
We're looking at a million people. For the first time
Exactly.
ever.
Plus, there's all these cameras, and he knows that there's literally millions of people right now watching him, judging his every motion, and the dude had to be terrified. But honestly, he came up, he pitched his game. The game looked great. I personally will buy that game. I want to support him, and I want to see what else.
Even outside of his personal presentation, the game looked really, really, really good.
Yeah,
Like,
it
for
looks
what's
like-
considered. Wait, he said 14 people
Yeah.
at his studio. That game looked great.
Looks like a
like
little
little.
flower floating mixed with a Little Big Planet.
Yeah,
I mean, it
like
looks-
easy, like
I'll play that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
If it comes out before Fallout 4.
And by the end of it, he's just gonna be completely unraveled, and you're gonna cry.
And you're gonna cry, yeah.
Yeah.
Or like, towards the end, he's gonna be like running out of yarn, and you're gonna be like, no.
In order to beat the game, you take that last step and you just like disappear, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the game's gonna have a ton of emotion. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I think the game's
It was
gonna
cool
be
to see, he was super excited.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being being approached by one of the biggest studios and being told, "Hey, we want to back your game.
And then we want you to go
Plus,
to E3 and
We're gonna need you
talk
to
it.
by yourself, like
Yeah.
no help."
Yeah,
It
it's
was cool.
yeah. I'm excited for it. And then the number one. I mean, honestly, of all of this that I could have hoped for was we saw gameplay of Battlefront.
Yeah.
Time.
It is about time we
Yeah,
saw
that was
some
way too
gameplay.
Yeah,
But
they
for
stretched that out.
honestly, somebody like me, I was honestly not expecting the gameplay to look that good. When they showed us this in-engine footage earlier, I mean, obviously they're like, this is an engine, this is, the engine running it and stuff. I was like, okay, yeah, but it's still cinematic.
Yeah.
Obviously it's whatever. And then the gameplay came out and was, I don't want to say as good, but damn close.
No,
Like,
I think it looked as good as the original trailer.
again, like they are running on like
Right.
dev kits and test machines, and the whole game isn't one piece yet. So they're running this thing like, way higher, like a vertical slice, and they can just run it ultra max. And once the
get
whole
it.
thing, the same thing happened with Witcher. They had huge intentions to make the game just the best thing ever, but they found they put the whole thing together, and like we just can't, just won't work like this.
But that
So
original
it may
trailer
still
that,
go down.
that came out during the whole Star Wars
Celebration, yeah.
celebration. Like it was the camera angles that really kind of sold it. Like you saw the Scout Troopers getting on the speeder bikes, and I think it looked as good as that. It's just obviously it's going to appear different because you're playing it from a player's
A
perspective
player's
versus
perspective, yeah.
a more film experience. But
Even with them pulling those graphics back, I mean, they could pull them back a lot. And I thought what really did it for me, anyways, was I mean, the characters looked good, the action looked good, but the environments looked real. They looked alive, And I know they spoke a lot about that, about going to the real places, touching the real like figurines from LucasArts. They
Yeah.
spent all that time doing that, and it shows. They didn't just waste that time. It wasn't just something they did for fun.
It looks great.
The passion that they did is there.
They had a
Even like
fancy
that.
term for it.
Okay, this was not the EA conference, but at the later conference, I think it was for Sony, they showed more gameplay.
Yeah.
And they had like photorealistic textures on the ground, like that
Yeah.
was like almost off-putting, like when you see HD for the first time, like
Yeah.
nobody can complain about those graphics because they were just like photos of the ground. Like I was like, wow, that looks. It's almost weird how good that
Like
looks.
scary good. Like I'm looking at I might as well just be looking out a window onto the ground.
I'm not saying like the characters or anything that were made by hand, but like just the
environment.
texture, like environment.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I got a
no,
question from Twitter. How do you guys feel about lightsabers in Battlefront?
I think
They belong.
I think they very much are part of the
It's a
game.
part of
But
the
they're not
Yeah,
like a
it's-
primary weapon, right?
No.
No, I mean, okay, so every game's got its rewards for doing good, and Battlefronts has always had the heroes. That's always been its kind of staple is, instead of getting these packs, these vehicles, these drops, you play as a Jedi, you play as a hero, Boba Fett, Chewbacca, Han Solo, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, you played as these iconic characters, and I think to me, they couldn't have picked a better reward system. We play as these characters that you love from the movies and stuff. You play as these lovable characters and stuff that are, a little bit more powerful. And at least in 2, I thought it was really cool. Like you could set it up if you and your buddies were playing that the hero could go to the person with the most kills, the person with the most points, the person with the least kills, the person with the least amount of points. So
And that's what I was interested to see how it's going to work.
Yeah.
Because obviously if it's a team-based thing, like your team is winning by this many points, or even maybe even losing, so the game feels you need to get that advantage. Because if it just becomes available, whoever sees it's just going to mash whatever button it is to become.
yeah,
So it's got to be something a little bit more restrictive. Like
I hope
you
it's,
accomplish a certain set of goals, so you get to play as Darth
Yeah.
Vader or Luke Skywalker.
I think there's a ton of possibility. I think lightsaber battles, I think all that is needed for it. I think
That's
it's
an awesome part of it, though. Can you imagine
Yeah.
being like in an X-wing flying around, and you look down or go to third person, whatever, and you see
Dude, the way
your
those
guys
TIE
just
fighters and stuff like fly across the screen, like with such like power, and there's people in those things. I was just like, yeah.
Everyone was so
sounds
worried
just-
about not space battles. To me, especially with once we saw, like, I don't need the space battles. I want that ship above me. I want to be, when I'm flying my ship, I want to be able to bomb
I want to
somebody
see
on
one of
the
these things
ground.
like crash like right in the ground, just take some people out. Like I
Well,
just, whoa.
we'll get to that point someday where it's just like I don't know. To have space battles also be like coherent with an actual like individual map, like say Hoth, it just would seem weird.
We discussed
Like-
it too one time, like the amount, like just imagine the matchmaking, the amount of time it would take to populate a ground battle and a space battle and everywhere in between. You're talking hundreds of people.
Even if there's 64 people, which is the most we've seen with Battlefield, and you fly up 3 miles into the air or whatever, it's gonna be empty.
And with
like,
how big that they would have to make it, just the game in general,
you
you
can make it
probably
take
have
10
to.
seconds, and it's gonna feel cheap and just stupid. You have to fly out of the atmosphere.
You might be restricted to being in space versus not being on the ground. Like
It might be something in the future, but as of right
Yeah.
now, I don't feel like our.
I'd rather them.
I can see them doing like just space battles, like not land maps at all, but like just dedicated space battles. Because they did that with
Yeah, that'd be
Battlefield. They've
awesome.
done like air battles, but just Battlefield. Like everyone's in jets, so I can see them doing that.
Yeah.
I don't ever see them, not at least not in this game, to do both at once.
do both at once. I don't think it'll happen. But that kind of tied up EA, and then after them we had Ubisoft. Ubisoft actually had some.
You missed my favorite one with EA.
What was
Plants.
Plants vs. Oh, how did I miss Plants vs Zombies, man? That was
There's
that
two
game's.
people interested.
These two people.
These two people right here. It's
I
cool.
will sit back for this one.
I don't even think we really need to talk much about Plants vs Zombies.
I think the big
mean,
difference is now you're the zombies fighting up the plants, and that's
It looked like a ton of fun.
I think that's all the Plants vs
It's just
Zombies
fun.
games ever are. We don't like I said, we don't need to go in depth with them because the games aren't themselves in depth. They are fun, they're enjoyable, and they don't take themselves too
Perfect
seriously.
distraction.
That's all it is, so
It's the thing you play between the other game that you're putting 200 hours into.
yep, when you need to just
For
cool
some
down,
people. For
when you
some
just
people,
need
that's
to
like their
cool
game.
down and play some stuff,
Yeah.
So
We have a special request to talk about Mirror's Edge. Do we want to go to Mirror's Edge?
Who'd that come from?
I wonder who.
well, we'll hit it then, you guys. Mirror's Edge did get announced. Mirror's Edge Catalyst. They've clearly stated that it's not a sequel, but a reboot to the series, which I think is kind of cool. Obviously, it's been a while since we've got it. I think doing a sequel would kind of confuse a lot of people, and it would be hard to jump into it. Like, I honestly, personally didn't play Mirror's Edge that much, so if they came out with a sequel, I wouldn't even look at it. With them calling it a reboot,
I'm still not gonna play it.
I think I'm going to at least check it out. They said it was open world.
You can
It looks
play
like
it
Mirror's
for
Edge.
free. No, I played the first one. I did not beat it. I'm not going to pretend like I'm some hardcore Mirror's Edge fan.
Yeah.
I got to a point where I was trying to escape, and the controls were really, really finicky, and I just could not do it. So
Makes
I'm not.
sense.
I mean, I just. Again, maybe that's why they're rebooting it, because they're just going back and trying to figure out how it works better. But
Yep.
it's one of those. It's not like Dishonored as far as like game mechanics, but it's like Dishonored in the fact that it's just kind of one of those unique games that
Yep.
came out, was successful enough to warrant a sequel coming out or a reboot, whatever.
Yeah.
And the way they're explaining it is that it's going to be straight parkour. None of this. You can pick up a pistol and on a machine gun, and the guns seem really out of place in the game, anyways. And it's open world.
Yeah.
And there's going to be just stuff you can do, so you can just parkour wherever you want.
Seems fun, seems enjoyable, and like you said, I think what really makes Mirror's Edge is, like you said, it's one of those Dishonored, one of those just standout, unique games that it's nice to see something fresh.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we get from that.
Not everything
So,
needs explosions, and it comes out in February.
talking about things that are fresh,
Here we go.
a new Assassin's Creed. We have carriages now, you guys.
I think
It's
if you
fresh.
pre-order,
It's
you get-
different.
You get an extra horse.
You get pants or
You
something.
can go 4 miles per hour instead of.
So Ubisoft started with, I think they started with Assassin's Creed.
No,
I don't-
they started with South Park.
Oh, okay, there we go.
South Park.
But for me, you guys, Assassin's Creed, any game that's an annual release has just lost me. To me, annual releases are Call of Duty, sports games, Assassin's Creed, and all of those games I could not care about. If they stopped making them, honestly, I wouldn't care. I know there's some hardcore Assassins fans out there. I mean, one of my old roommates was a hardcore Assassins fan. He loved them. He played all of them. This new Assassin's Creed is the reason he's upgrading. Do I care about it? No. I don't. Really.
I want to care about it because I feel
I
like
still
when
haven't played
they,
Unity or Rogue.
Yeah.
when they first came out, my view of Assassin's Creed was that I was basically going to be playing at different time periods, but kind of always be following kind of this assassin coming up on my own kind of storyline. Then it turned into like a giant Apple commercial, and now I'm like whipping out my iPod while stabbing. It got super convoluted.
do certain things unless you're doing
There's
stuff online.
A main game every year with mobile games coming out, with like in
Yeah.
between games coming out. It's just it's too much. But
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
its success is hurting it because now it's going to sell well, like Call of Duty. It has like that expected benchmark. People are going to buy it.
But I don't think it's really truly doing anything for the
No,
industry.
it's
not
not-
pushing us forward. It's not testing the boundaries. It's not trying new stuff. It's
I don't, when like the Call of Duty developers come out, they're like, yeah, well, they do come out every year, but we're always working on every entry like 2 to 3 years. Like that doesn't work anymore. These games are not different enough for me to go, I can't wait to see what they do next year.
Yeah.
Every time you buy an Assassin's Creed, the day after you can tell yourself one comes out in less than a year.
Yeah.
But it gives you no time to get invested in something. I mean, with the multiplayer, they ripped it out of this one because they saw how much it just didn't work in the last one.
Yeah.
So I don't even want to spend the time counting how many games we're in, but they're still trying to figure out how to get their game to work.
So we'll just move on. I think we've already talked about it more than it needed to be
One of
talked
the
about.
interesting things with Assassin's Creed, though, is it's not Ubisoft Montreal on the lead anymore. It's a different Ubisoft studio. Ubisoft Montreal is doing, what was it called?
They're doing that For Honor game now.
For Honor,
For
yeah.
Honor.
That
Thank
looked
God.
interesting. Didn't show a lot of it, but
That looks
piqued my interest.
in like the same period as Assassin's Creed, but it looks just a ton better. Like everything just looks better.
Samurais versus Vikings versus Knights, I guess.
I think just once again, kind of a fresh idea. You know, something that hasn't been beaten to death. Something that we haven't played 100 times. Something that we haven't, experienced before. And I know we've all, as kids, we all had that question. If I was a samurai, could I kill a pirate? Could I kill a Viking? Could I kill a knight? And it's going to be cool to kind of throw all of them into a match. And obviously, we didn't get to see a ton, but to me, it looked like it had a similar style to kind of like a Titanfall, where there's obviously these main heroes, we'll call them, these main guys that you're playing with, and then there's NPCs running around as well.
Yeah, I like when he was fighting that one guy, the NPC actually cuts him off and gets in between him, and he's like, oh, you have to back out of the way. And
So it looks like
the
it's
other guy.
it looks like it's 4v4
Yeah, I
actual
think that's what they
players.
showed, yeah.
And what I thought was that it's 4v4, and then each person maybe gets like an allotment of troops to kind of command with them. Maybe that follows that person around, and
It'd be cool too if they did it in a way where maybe you get a certain amount of points, and units are worth points. So you can do a bunch of really small units. You could do fewer, heavier units. Something
cool.
like that. I mean, there's possibility with the game,
It's
and
bad they're doing something fresh.
something fresh. Exactly.
But see, here's the thing: like I don't know much about it, but I know that it's new. It looks good, and they actually showed real gameplay. And there's a beta coming out. I think this fall.
Yeah,
For it?
August, I think.
And it was playable, so we'll probably get more
On the
videos
phone.
of just raw gameplay here in the next few days. It's
So
playable
that's-
before.
Definitely exciting.
That's how you do it.
Yep.
That's it. Add carriages, and I'm thinking that's carriages. I'm
So we
done.
missed one. We actually completely skipped one, I guess. I don't know if where you wrote down.
We kind of bounced around here a little bit.
We jumped a little bit.
Oh, yeah,
so
we're jumping around. I think we're getting there. South Park is what people are asking for.
South Park. No, I mean that one was the one I was gonna save for the end, but we'll do it now.
Totally out of left side. I didn't even think about that coming there. I didn't even.
So there's a game called South Park: The Fractured Butthole.
Fractured butthole.
I'm not going to leave any space between those last two words. Fractured butthole.
Best pleasant surprise. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, damn, yes.
And one was this was just how I felt about one. It was that pleasant surprise. When you put that game in, you played, you were impressed. You were like, wow, South Park put together a game that's true to South Park, amazingly fun to play, and different than anything else you were playing at the time. That is
And
exactly what a game should be when it comes out. It needs to hit those things. It needs to be true to itself, and it was. I mean, you could sit down and watch somebody play the South Park game, and you felt like you were just watching an episode of South Park. It didn't feel any different or kind of out of it. It just felt good.
South Park could have been like so many things too. It could have just been like a simple side-scrolling, like 4-player, just being stupid, and it probably still would have done well. The fact they made an RPG out of a show based on materials that were never ever actually shown in the cartoon itself,
Yeah.
and it was good, and it did great, and everyone loved it.
And then, what? One of them won Best Actor over Kevin Spacey.
Yes.
Like
Yes, that was the greatest.
I missed
game.
that.
Yeah, it was like the Video Game Awards. Best Actor went to
Trey Parker.
instead of.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
Kevin
And it was
Spacey.
actually great because he goes up on stage and he's like, video gaming is the best thing ever because only in video gaming can Trey Parker beat Kevin Spacey for acting. Thank you very much. He just walks off stage. Like, that's it. It was very short-lived, but fantastic. I cannot wait to see more about South Park, to play more, and just enjoy the existence
I
that
remember
it is.
seeing interviews and stuff how they said how much work and how much they slaved over the first South Park, and they said it really took a lot out. And so I didn't.
Well, they
think
said
they'd make another
they said
one
they
that
didn't
quickly.
want to make another one just due to the
Yeah.
work, but then they said they wanted to make a second one because by the end of the first one making it, they only learned then how to actually make a video game, so they could apply all that now to a new game.
Yeah.
Which obviously they knew what they were doing the first time, but yeah. I'm gonna play it
And then there was The Division.
finally.
I think The Division's going to be cool, but I don't. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like it's lost its steam for me. Like when The Division got announced, I was excited. I thought it was going to be great, and I don't know if it's.
God, it got announced in 2000. I want to say 12, 13.
I think
It's
12.
been at least 2 years.
It's been a
At
while,
minimum 2
and I
years.
just. I think the game's going to be fantastic, but to me, it's a shooter, and I can only truly have so much love for a shooter, and obviously my love for shooters this year are Fallout and Battlefront. Anything else that's got shooting aspects to it, I don't know if I can really care
Division
about.
isn't different enough to me. Like out of the two, I'm more interested in the Siege. I think that is going to be a lot of fun together.
Yeah,
Playing
so
that, but-
I think there's a lot of really cool points to the Division, but I don't know if there's even enough for me to talk about because I just, like I said, I feel like it's lost my steam. I think the game's going to be fantastic. I'm not by any means trying to defer people from it, but for me, it's lost its oomph. You know, it's when it first got announced, I was incredibly excited for it. Like, oh my god, yeah, like this game's gonna do it. And then,
See, when they first announced it, I was like, everybody lost their cool over it because it looked awesome.
Yeah.
And then they showed nothing, and then they just kept giving these short little, it's coming, and it never came. And then they just, I stopped even reading up on it. So for me, seeing gameplay was kind of new to me. It was new to everyone, but it was like new to me because I hadn't been keeping up with it. And it was awesome. Like, it looked really good, and they showed raw gameplay, and it was just neat how things worked. And I know it might get labeled as a shooter, but it didn't appear just like a shooter. Like, it seemed almost like a
it definitely doesn't have just those generic shooter elements to it, but
it has some sort of loot system. And there was like in the demo they came across other players that were engaged with NPCs, and they could decide to either shoot the actual players or help them, and then they did help them, and by the end of the demo found out that by looking at them that those set of players had like some level of gear, and they could either kill them and take it, or they could leave them alone because they were higher level. They waited until they were about to be extracted and killed them and took all their stuff, and then they extracted themselves. Like, it was cool. The ideas are there. I'm going to get killed a lot in that game
get killed a lot.
and never
So,
get anything.
That was
looked
Ubisoft, honestly.
Those new Ghost Recon that
I
I
was-
totally missed.
I was honestly a little bit like surprised. I was really not expecting much from the Ubisoft conference. I really wasn't expecting to be wowed in any way, and we actually got a few things for Honor, South Park, a few things that really to me were like, this is great. This is them, you know,
South Park really did it.
being true,
Ubisoft
so-
was second to Bethesda for third-party
for third party
conferences.
stuff. Yeah,
they did good.
and then we ended with, I know all of our favorite console at least,
There are
Sony.
no favorites.
Yes.
I play good games. I don't care what the box is.
Hey, I own both of them as well. So, but if I'm saying
I
I
don't
play
know.
on one, but we got a lot with Sony that I think we had been waiting for forever. I mean, first off, Last Guardian. What Last Guardian? What do you like?
To me, it's like, and we've been arguing about this all night. I was underwhelmed. Like, I love Sony. I'm a self-confessed Sony fanboy, and like from the top of the list, Last Guardian looks amazing. But at this point, you've been working on it for so long, like you owe people something. At this point, you're just apologizing. You're not gonna gain ground here by showing me a pretty trailer. You deserved
So
a pretty trailer 5 years ago.
you know what the Last Guardian collector's edition is going to have? A book explaining why it
Has
took
that
10
book?
years.
I would buy it. 'Cause
Why
I don't even want to buy the
10
game. I
years?
just
It's
wanna
gonna
know what
come with
happened.
Grimoire cards.
Make
You're
a
gonna read
TV show
online.
out of it and just.
Like, to me, the game looked good, but it did not, by any means, look 10 years in development good. It didn't. It looked like an Ico game.
And people can't say like they're super hyped now and back on that train because like the train has been going for like 11 years.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Like
So
the game should have been done and gone and dead by now. And in the
I'm gonna
market
play
bin.
it.
I'm gonna play it too. It's like I'm a big Ico fan. Ico was great. Shadow of Colossus was great. I like that development studio, and I'm hoping that anything that they put 10 years into, maybe the 10 years of development, maybe the game is incredibly long, and obviously we only got to see a sliver of it. You know, maybe there's a lot more depth to it that we just didn't see, and maybe they didn't do it justice with its.
I think the game looks great. It's gonna redeem itself. You know, it's
Yep.
It's
There's
done.
nothing that game can do when it
game is
releases
behind.
that anyone's gonna go that was worth 10
years.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
even if you're looking forward to it, like I'm looking forward to it. I won't be disappointed by it. Anyone who was just not playing any games for 10 years, I'm sorry. There was other stuff that came out. But I think
One or
they
two
announced
things,
it
you know.
way too early, and a lot of people I don't know if realize that Team Japan that's making it, they pretty much help with all in-house Sony games.
Did they put the data? I forget. Didn't they say 2016, right?
2016. Yeah.
2016. Yeah.
So again, it could not even within.
It's
Speaking of games that long development, early announcement, No Man's Sky. This is one, to me, is going to be great. I think No Man's Sky is a super ambitious game. I think they're trying to get really crazy with it, and I think it's going to be fantastic.
Super cool.
Especially what they kind of showed. It looked like there was a point system or some sort of reward system. So it looks like there's some sort of driving force to get you to do stuff. I don't know
what it is yet. I want a level system or something. Like if they become a badass and just rule like a solar system.
I'm not sure what you'd be ruling though. I think it's going to be Sony's Minecraft.
My number
That's
one
my
thing
opinion.
that I need out of No Man's Sky is a way for people to connect. So obviously they've said when you start this game, it basically drops you in randomly into this infinite universe. Basically, we'll call it.
But see, like,
is there going to be a
it's gonna
way
take
for
you
us?
30 hours to travel to someone, which is ridiculous, or can you just teleport? But I feel like if you can teleport anywhere, that kind of cheapens the game, doesn't it?
But okay, so I feel like if you can just teleport anywhere, yes. But there should be a function, like maybe when you start, like when you're already playing, you know, maybe it's not even my first time playing, but when I join in, there should be an option like spawn on friend. So you just start there. It's not
Or they
like
do like a warp speed like Eve does. You jump in like hyper gates and stuff and quick
Yeah.
travel.
I imagine it'll have some sort of
because I
like
feel
start a game with friends and you're able to just keep rejoining that same world.
because I feel like the game, if it doesn't have this strong narrative, it doesn't have this strong direction, the fun is going to be make your own fun.
Right. It has all the fun, all the environments, all the gameplay. I don't know about this, if it needs a story, but it just needs like
I don't
a
think it's
reason to
gonna be a
play it.
story.
If they put the reason in there, like
But that's what I'm saying. If the three of us could sit down, jump into that game, I don't think we need a story. I don't think we need a reason to play. I think the three of us could just jump in and be stupid,
Yeah.
have a lot of fun, and then
but if I log
move
off
on.
every time, my stuff's gone, or nothing changes, then or
I don't think that would happen.
some new guy pops in and kills me. If I've been playing for a whole year, it's gonna be like a
Yeah.
bit deflating. Like I want to be able to feel some kind of progression or reward from it.
it looked like there's going to be some, but obviously they haven't talked enough about it. Once again, we did not get a release date, so there's still more to come.
Well, he said soon,
It's gonna be the next Last Guardian.
right?
Yeah.
That's a date.
soon. So at least they're showing us gameplay though, so I don't think it's going to be the next Last Guardian because we're already seeing
Yeah, no, definitely.
progression. They're moving at a steady pace.
I'm excited for it, but I think it's bad that we still have this many questions about it.
Yeah.
There should be a lot of stuff that's more cleared up.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be asking what you do.
Sony did announce a couple other things. Hitman. I've always been a Hitman fan, although I gotta say I did not play Absolution as much as I had hoped. I loved the first three. Blood Money to me was like
The best one.
the game. That
The
was
best one,
like
period.
that game was like just the mission that speaks to me the most, the one that I at least remember the most, is where you had to kill the actor. And
And you could like poison his drink
you
or
could
something.
poison
or
his drink, or you could
replace the prop gun.
Yeah,
It was
and then
real.
what I ended up doing was actually leaving the prop gun, going up into the top of the rafters, and sniping him at the exact moment the guy shot. Like just any game like that where there was is if you could think it up and get away with it, you could do it, or you could
Yeah.
literally just go in guns blazing and kill everybody and walk out. Like
So Absolution came out. It did good. Like people enjoyed it, but then the Hitman like purists hated it because it wasn't like that. It was more. I don't want to say linear, but it had more of a narrative, so it was more story focused. So certain things were kind of locked off. Like you had to do certain things a certain way.
yeah,
They sent out like a huge letter like about a year back, really long, basically saying we're going back to the roots. It's going to be huge, massive, the best one we've ever done. We heard you. It's going to be this and that. And they didn't show anything, but I assume because it's a Square Enix game, probably tomorrow when their conference is, they might actually reveal gameplay.
if they go back to the roots, they've got me. They can have my money because, like we were just saying, Blood Money. Like
Man.
it was perfect. They
You could-
did it.
I mean, people always say you can replay this level and it can be different. That was one of the few games you could literally replay a level 10 different times and you can get 10 different outcomes. That
Yep.
was really, really cool.
Absolutely perfect. We had some new IPs, a new IP, Horizon. You
he's
looked
excited. He's got
you
a
looked
smile.
happy about that. Yeah, you were. So feelings about Horizon,
Best game of the show.
best game of the show,
My
huh?
personal-
You think that was your gem?
Easily.
That was it. I
It
mean,
might come across like I'm trying to be pro Sony, but it hit all the right things. New IP. It's not 3 years away.
yeah.
It looks great. It's got an interesting lead character. It's not some macho looking. It's unique. It's different enough, but it's got grounded elements to it. You're fighting freaking awesome mech dinosaurs with bows, and it looks like you can trap them and like take parts from them, and there's like it looks like deep mechanics to actually kill them. It's not just a matter of shoot their weak spot 100 times and they'll explode. Like she was shedding parts of like what looked like a T-Rex's armor and then like hitting certain points and tying it down, and
There
it
was
awesome.
I think like you were saying, it kept enough of classic what we know works, but added enough new to make something fresh, new and exciting.
It's stuff there that like the I don't want to say casuals, but like the people who just look at a game and kind of go, yeah, it looks fun. It has the shooting and it had explosions and it has dinosaurs. Dinosaurs kind of thing right now, but it had enough uniqueness to it that like for someone looking for a new IP to get into.
No, it looks great.
I think it was there.
It was the first time I was there. I heard
awesome.
much about it, so it looked really interesting.
It's
Yeah.
Brave from
I need
Disney's
to
movie just
research a
going
little bit
crazy
more about.
Yeah.
and just killing. Yeah, I mean, obviously we don't really. I mean, they had that cool actual kind of little artistic trailer in the beginning explaining how they got to where they are. Then it broke into a demo. Then it was lengthy enough, and I'm all over it. And it's from the Killzone developers. These guys they basically said back when Killzone 2 came out with that CG trailer, they said we'll never show a CG trailer ever again, because there was a lot of up in arms over the trailer coming out and people being like, oh, it doesn't look like that, and
Yeah.
it looked great.
I agree with
That
you.
was
I
the
think
most
it looked
interesting looking
fantastic.
thing that I think has been shown at E3 so far.
I think you really hit all the points on it. Like you said, it was everything old and new, perfect combination of the two. So
still need to see more, but I want it.
we had Uncharted, the new Uncharted. We got to see some gameplay of it, and of course, I mean, anyone who was watching, we had a technical difficulty with Uncharted.
Drake was unsure if he was ready for
Drake just really wasn't sure. And it also kind of threw me off that like it starts off like you see this like pirate statue, this like old world, these two big heavy doors. These two guys have to like walk up, pick this up. I'm like, okay, we're gonna go adventure a tomb real quick or something. They pop open these doors and there's like this like thriving city. There's
it was like really just like the back alley of a Walmart.
Yeah, it was.
This is interesting.
It was a little weird.
I thought the whole thing was. I mean, I thought that part was awesome. I feel like you should be allowed to use the same game for your one last thing 2 years in a row. I mean,
I might give you that. Like it was.
It should have been like in the middle of Centerpiece.
And
to
no
start,
release date.
But yeah, and
Like not even a month.
Yeah.
I mean, they might announce it here like in the next week. I don't know, but that was just really weird. A hard date would have at least been like cool, but
Yeah,
nothing.
I don't feel like it quite had that end game, and then it kind of ended really abruptly too. It like Uncharted
happened there?
ended,
Yeah.
and then it just like went black, and then it was just like
That
concerts,
guy-
people were just like walking away.
Yeah,
Like
that guy played. It was like really quick. You saw him just kind of like tuck away and just went to the
he just
back.
like stood up. He
Didn't
didn't
even say a
He didn't
word.
even say like, "Hey, thanks for joining us for the Sony conference." He just like that was just like the end of the show. Like it seems like there was something going on there that was behind the scenes that just they weren't quite all tied together. They
He might have
didn't.
just been really frustrated that it didn't work the first time.
It's possible.
They probably practiced that so many times and it didn't work. That was a weird demo too. That was kind of like I would even put that up with the Gears reveal. I just didn't think that was they were in a car the whole time.
Yeah, there was
Like,
a
I
lot
don't
of
associate
driving.
jumping at the start, but it wasn't Uncharted.
I think
it's
they-
a driving game.
A
It's
little bit of
adventure
shooting.
game,
There was
you
like a little bit of shooting, a little
Yeah.
bit of jumping, and then they raced in a car, and then
It was
It
cool.
looked great. That's what I expected. No less, no more.
It was a weird thing to demo,
But
Yeah.
it should have been.
but we're all gonna buy it.
I don't think it was quite.
It's time to make it like one of their centerpieces and just put it in the middle, and it shouldn't be like everything revolves around that now. Because you should have some other stuff by now already.
Yeah, it should. They did have something else, and it's something fans of the series have been waiting for forever. It's something we've all asked for.
Oh, God.
Except
And I
this
know,
guy.
except for him.
Except this
I know
guy.
exactly where this
Final
is going.
Fantasy VII. I don't know how he can't care about it. We should just kick him in
All
the
games
throat.
are old.
And like Final Fantasy VII, that game to Final Fantasy lovers is like it was the masterpiece. It was. I mean, they've never done anything as good, and may possibly never do something as good. And I know originally they were talking about them never remaking 7 until they make something better than 7.
Well, they weren't going to until they found out that they couldn't keep making lightning-based Final Fantasies.
They ran out of those, huh?
Dear God.
Yeah.
How that went on for as long as it did.
I mean, if you think about it too, we've got what, like 300 Final Fantasies now, If you talk all the DS ones and all the offshoots and 10, 10-2, light, 13, 13-2, lightning
But that also
return.
speaks to just how popular.
Yeah.
That thing's been around literally since the NES, and we're technically only at the numbered 15, but there's more than 15 Final Fantasies out there.
It's crazy too to think that like the reason Final Fantasy has its name is the developer. He was putting time in. He had a few real flops beforehand, and he was basically like, "This is my last chance. This is it. Like this is my last go at a video game, and if this flops, then I'm done."
Yeah.
And he put out Final Fantasy, and now it's this staple. Everyone knows what Final Fantasy is. You might not love the series, but you see Final Fantasy,
There's
it
certain
means
games that I
something.
love, like Tactics, and there's pieces of Final Fantasy. I wouldn't say I'm as big a fan as some of the people, but it's definitely some good games out there.
It's really nice too that it's not just an HD remake, but it's
No, they made sure to put that word on there by itself, so there's no confusion. It's a complete remake.
it's a remake. This
Complete
they rebuilt this game. It's amazing. So the fact that we're getting
Eris is not going to die in this version.
7 and we're also getting
not gonna happen.
15. I mean,
See what's sad, and maybe I'm part of the problem. I would if these both release on the same day, I'm picking up 7 every day of the week.
Between 7 and 15.
I'm sorry. I like 15. And it's
I'll
not
be part of the solution, and I'm buying both of them. They can have my money, 100%, no
Granted.
questions asked. They
I mean,
can take it from me.
Like you bought 10 and 10-2 originally on the PS3 and on the PS4.
3
That's
times.
ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure. Okay, I no longer own the PS3 one, but I think I still own Final Fantasy X on the PS2. I know I still don't own 10-2.
We already
because
had a
honestly,
6-hour conversation.
I
on
didn't
this,
care.
yeah.
Alright.
But 7 is amazing.
7 is amazing.
7 for a lot of people was like their first main RPG.
Yeah.
I'll even say for me, it was. It came out on PlayStation. I think I was probably. I'm sure I played other RPGs, but that was probably the first one that I just got lost in. I remember being in, I want to say middle school. I'm old. Like just swapping
eating
memory
sand
cards
at
with
the time.
friends. Yeah, like it was awesome. I mean, it was so good that I played 8. 8 is my favorite Final Fantasy to date. I played 9. I skipped on it, but ended up playing it. Loved it. 10 came out. Never beat 10. Never beat 10-2. Then the Lightning.
But 7 to you was what got you in. It's what
7 is a starting point for a ton of people. There's people I still know that's like the only RPG they've ever played, just because of just kind of that steampunk setting. It was cool. It had cuss words in it. It was hip.
as a kid that was
Dude with a
it.
Gatling gun. It wasn't
Yeah.
because a lot of people associate RPGs with like you're playing as a cat and there's like wands and stuff, and this was like more down there. You got a big sword and guy with a
Final
gun for an
Fantasy's
arm.
always had that cool like mix of fantasy with technology. That's always been like, to me, like you
Yeah.
said, like that was as a kid especially. You're like running around and you're casting magic, and the next thing you know, this spider tank like massive thing comes busting through, and then this
Yeah.
flying whale thing goes by, and you're like,
that turns
what
into
world
a tank.
am I in? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just.
But it was cool.
Yeah.
Is there any other games from Sony at all?
I mean,
Is
they
it?
ended with Star Wars, but I mean, we already
let's
talked
talk
that.
about
We
that.
saw a little bit of different gameplay, which was cool. But yeah, I mean, that was it. It was.
Overall impressions? What was your favorite?
I
I
mean,
think it's pretty unified on what our favorite was, right?
I think Fallout. I mean,
That
is
does, though.
even I think Star Wars Battlefront is my most anticipated game, but I think what company did their game the most justice. I think it's hands down Fallout. I mean,
I think mine was Battlefront, and now it's Fallout. I think Battlefront's in second place now, but I will say hands down, I feel like the third parties just blew the first parties out of the water today. Microsoft and Sony. Neither of them did bad. I think they both did their fans
justice
happy,
and
but third parties all day long this year.
third parties really owned it. I think and maybe it was like what Joey said earlier, is that they really get to focus. They know what they don't have to split between all these little third party developers and all this stuff. They get to hyper focus, and maybe that's why they did good, or maybe they just were planned better or had better things to show. Whatever it is, though, third parties really came with it.
And
this
while
year,
kind of
so.
weird, Sony started a Kickstarter for
Oh yeah, that was weird.
what is probably not a huge franchise to a lot of people, but it is big. Shenmue. which apparently is almost at its $2 million goal, 2 hours
now.
into its existence. That was kind of weird how it was introduced. A Sony. There has to be some other.
I'm not against Kickstarters, but having them stand on stage next to a behemoth like Sony with
It was
money,
odd.
they have money to burn. They're just standing there like, hey, please give us money.
That's more than likely just
I
to
think-
keep it as a Sony and PC thing.
I think
Like,
it's because I was talking about it earlier. I'm sure people have been asking for it for a while, and it's maybe not something that Sony's ready to dump a bunch of money into because maybe they're not sure about it. So you know what, Sony's like, you know what?
Yeah, but Sony's
If you
like-
want to make this happen, fucking pay for it. If not, we're not going to make it happen. Like
But
if you
even-
truly want it, support it. Like
Sony's the one that's got to believe in it. They've got to pay for it. And I feel like Sony should put up the cash. If not, they're still lending their audience. You know, like this isn't
We're
like
talking about-
this isn't a Shenmue conference. This is like these are our fans, and they're gonna. I'm sure all those Sony people just jumped on there and started paying for it because they're Sony fans. And you know,
I don't believe that.
I don't think so because I'm a Sony fan and I've never played the series, and so there's nothing.
It's never been on a Sony platform. It released on Dreamcast, and they re-released the Shenmue 2 HD on Xbox, and it just sold terrible. There was not enough funding to make a third one.
So for me, like I'm a huge Sony fanboy, and I would by no means go support this game because of what it is. I don't know enough about it, and I don't care
It's
enough
pure-
about
it's
it.
I'm
pure
not
fan
against.
service.
I'm not against Kickstarter at all. It just felt weird. You know, like
I get the point.
it's
Like
$2
you're
million.
on this
It's a
stage.
drop in the bucket for Sony. Like Sony doesn't obviously even believe in this enough to give you the $2 million.
They maybe didn't want to like try to put out this really weird message and try to explain it, but I think there has to be some sort of Sony funding going on with it. Like there's no way they had this guy on Sony stage and he's not getting something from Sony.
Some sort of
'Cause
backing.
there's something.
Or, yeah.
They probably didn't want to
the other
like.
$2 million. Like, no, I don't know.
like maybe it's a $4 million game. Yeah, and they say, hey, if you can.
There's
reach,
no way this game is just a $2 million
Exactly.
game. So
They're
people
like,
are.
if you can reach
Uh,
this amount, we'll float the bill for the rest of it.
There's
you
that
know?
Castlevania game. It's not Castlevania, but it's that the Spirit of Six.
Bloodstained.
The guy literally said that I'm putting a goal on this, and he said like all this money isn't really even like it's going towards the game, but this isn't even touching like production. This is literally just to see if people want it bad enough.
Yeah.
And he said if I hit this goal, then I'll actually make the game.
And
Like,
he
it's
smashed
not
that goal.
It's not if we get this money, the game's just going to come out tomorrow. So
Yeah.
there's something going on.
So a lot of good stuff. Third parties came really strong. There's still some more.
Tomorrow we have Nintendo and Square Enix.
Yeah, so I mean, we still got some
Pre-order
big
your
stuff.
amiibos now.
Oh my god, Amiibos.
Got
Get
Duel
on it.
yesterday and the day before. And
They're
the day
coming out with
before.
a purple Mario, a green one.
Square's probably gonna talk about Deus. You excited for that?
Deus Ex, Hitman
hopefully some
gameplay.
15 Hitman gameplay.
Kingdom Hearts is going to stealth release.
Kingdom Hearts is not
Tomorrow.
gonna talk about at all.
So
Don't get me
still
excited for
still a
nothing.
lot to go. Still a lot to be excited for you guys. So
Bloodstained. That was the name of
Bloodstained,
it. That's
yeah.
what I was thinking of. Bloodstained.
yeah.
Bloodstained is
So-
no longer the #1 fun game though Shenmue is. They already passed it.
Oh really?
Wow,
Already
that's
passed.
quick. So
There are
Yeah.
people out there. I mean, like the whole Kickstarter thing is awesome.
it's brilliant.
These
I
games
mean,
would have never been made.
Amiibo
Ever.
World. World. Did you guys see the new Yoshi game? Did you guys see that? They did the Nintendo World Championships yesterday, and they played some the Yoshi's.
No, I didn't get to see it.
Actually looks really fun. Like usually
Nice.
the Yoshi games are kind of stupid and childish, and they're just way too easy. But this looks
Look
looks
good.
killer. So
Nice. Well, I feel like we got to talk about a lot.
we
There's
talked way too long already.
there's still more coming, you
I
guys.
might be wrong on
Um,
that. I correct myself on the whole Kickstarter comparison. Bloodstained is beating Shenmue. All the same though, the Banjo Spirit Successor, all these 3 games are being made simply because people are supporting it.
So
No developer thought it was good enough to do so.
keep supporting video games, you guys. Be it the third party, be it
Interesting,
the
that's
first party, be it these Kickstarters, you guys. Like that's what this is all about. That's what E3 is all about. That's what our thing's all about. Is support what you love, video gaming. Support us if you guys like to hear us talking. We're gonna do more of these, I'm sure. I mean, we've tried to kick it up. We'll get more going and get you guys as much content as possible. So
Thanks for tuning in,
Yeah.
guys, and
thanks
listening to
for.
us.
We did not even mention Tomb Raider.
All right, you guys.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining, guys. Have a good one.